Hey guys, I'm Angelita. I'm a mom of three. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I'm homeschooling my second year.
And I'm Kelly, and I'm a mom of three. I have a 7, 11, and 14-year-old, and I'm going into my 10th year of homeschooling. We wanted to answer some questions from viewers from Three Moms and a Dad. And the first question is from Rita. How do I find a public charter school in my area? And that's a great question. That's a great first step.
Yes.
And yeah, the quickest answer is just to get on Google and Google public charter schools. You can also call your district and ask them. You can get into some maybe a homeschool Facebook group and ask around. But the first step is just to get on the internet and research.
For our other viewer, they wrote, how do you homeschool different grade children all at once? That is a great question. In fact, I was really nervous about that, especially with a little one. With a toddler, it's not like you could say, wait here, while I go touch you, no. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? But it's actually easier. It's really a lot easier than you think. So it helps to know your children. And I know for my little one, if I just get her engaged either in some coloring or we have a VTech, I love it because it's very educational. Get her going, then I'm able to work with my other two and really get where they're at. Now, I sometimes do the exact same subject and they're at just different levels. So I got that kindergarten and I got that 3rd grader doing work. And it's great because my older one can help with the younger, helps reinforce those, those concepts and stuff. So it's really great. So when there's a subject, for instance, that requires more attention and you know that you're not gonna be able to get that time to really go into that with that student, it's great to have those curriculums that have those lectures online or, on demand, and you could set them up, let that lecture go, be there to answer any questions afterwards while you work with the others. And so that's what works for me. How about you? I know you got older ones. So.
I think it takes a while to figure out what works best for your family. I really like checklists. So each of my kids, they have a list with a box they can check. And I don't necessarily decide what time they have to do each subject, but I have the requirements for the day laid out right there for them. And we kind of just, depending on how the day's going, we make sure we get those boxes checked. Yeah. My next question is from Gail. Is it possible to send your kids to a homeschool? Like find a mom that does homeschool for other children, or is the only option the parent? And that is a really good question, and I actually did a little bit of research on that one because I wasn't sure. I went to the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, and that is a very valuable resource for all homeschoolers. They lay out laws for every state, in California, you actually do not have to be the teacher, but you are responsible for your child's education. So if somebody else is doing the teaching, that's totally legal in California. It's not specified that you have to be the one teaching, but you are responsible for your education.
Yeah. Takes a little pressure off, especially if this is new for you,
Yeah.
All right, Cheryl, she asked, how can you homeschool your child if you're not a certified teacher? So as law, you're not required to be certified, but I know we want to provide our child with the best education, and that's what's great when you hook up with these charter schools or have some sort of umbrella school. You have someone who's a mentor teacher to you that is certified, so you get that checks and balances, so you're doing the right thing, as well as you could send your student to a particular class enrollment. In fact, my son's in a couple classes, and those instructors are always certified, and the curriculum that you get, it has been approved by the charter school, so you don't have to worry about, oh, did I get the right one? Is this going to be the right thing? There's so many checks and balances, like I said earlier, that you'll get what you need, and you don't have to worry about that accreditation.
We're not doing this alone, just hiding out in our house by ourselves. There's a ton of resources. Our third question is from Dory, and she is curious about homeschooling. However, her kid is a teen now, and she wants to know if it's too late to homeschool her, and she's considering the bullying that's occurring with her. That's always a good reason to consider homeschooling. If social issues are getting in the way of your child's education, it's never too late. It's never too late. I mean, in all honesty, it's a little tougher when you jump in right into high school, but it's never too late. The same thing, the resources are there.
All right, for Melinda, she asked, I want to do homeschooling, but my kids don't listen to me at all. Trying to get them to do homework is like pulling teeth. Well, we don't have any magic wands or anything.
No,
Go ahead and do it. Wish we did.
If anyone
right?
has one, let us know.
So, absolutely. So we know exactly what you're going through. Oh my goodness. But I will say, there's little tricks up our sleeve that we can use. For instance, using what motivates your child. I mean, that's really, I feel like being a mom, you get to know inside of your kid, you know what makes them tick, you know what makes them happy, what makes them excited. So, and even teachers, they don't got that magic wand either. They're using incentives. They got that little student store. We just don't know all the things they're doing. But I mean, for me in my home right now, I got little ones, and we got this little star chart, or sticker chart, and they earn the little stickers. So that's a little bit of, affirmation and, oh yes, I'm achieving these things. And at the end, they could just, actually, this is our first year where we have a little treasure box. And if they get all the little stars, they can get something from that little treasure chest every year or every week. And they get to decide what goes in it. But let me tell you other things, especially with older kids, and you probably could attest to this, and that is allowing them to do the subjects in the order that they want.
Yeah.
So my son loves science. He loves to just get right to it, reading right away. And I'm kind of like, let's do the math first. But, some days I'll get what I want. But other days he's just like, all right, let you do your thing. Another huge tip is getting them involved in which curriculum they choose. And that's huge because there's an ownership in that. Like, Mom, I really like this math book.
That's good.
Because they have math books like comic style now. They have videos. There's so much stuff out there. I mean, it's endless, really.
I use a lot of positive reinforcements. I try not to call it bribes, but it's positive reinforcements. Video games are a big one for my boys. If they want their video game time, they're going to get their work done. Amy asked, can you use the stipend on a tutor? And that's a great question. You may, as long as they're vendored with the charter school. So when you're with a charter school, which you don't have to be with a charter school to homeschool. You can also homeschool independently. You can homeschool through a private school satellite program. There's 3 different ways to do it. But when you're with a charter school, there is a stipend that comes with that, which is basically the tax dollars that would be spent on your child in a regular brick and mortar public school. You get to spend those as you see fit within some parameters that the charter school has. And when you find a tutor that you like, you can, if they're not already vendored with the charter school, which means they, I don't want to say jump through the hoops. What's a better way to say that? When they are vendored with the charter school and they have become approved, you can use your stipend on a tutor.
If they're not approved, it's okay. The process is really easy. The vendor just has to be willing to fill out some applications and kind of go through it. And you can, as a mom or parent, you can help them through that. So, all right, there was a 2-part question from Amy. So the other part she asked is, do you team up with other parents for sub days and field trips? And for me, yes. I don't do too much sub days, but absolutely with field trips. I mean, it makes it fun when you're a group and get to go together. So we've done pumpkin patches. We've done tours like leather bees with ice cream. That was great, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm just, there's so many options out there. So you definitely don't have to be alone in your own little island. The community is there. There's groups, a lot of them on Facebook, a lot on social media.
We do a different program called Classical Conversations, and we are together once a week. We do field trips together. Our kids are in a classroom setting once a week. Actually, mine are in a classroom setting twice a week because they also do another enrichment class. Another enrichment class. So there's lots of opportunities to be with other families, and there's tons of co-ops out there. Most homeschoolers I know are in community at least a couple times a week.
Thank you guys so much for submitting your questions to 3 Moms and Dad. We had a great time conversing about homeschooling. And you can find 3 Moms and Dad weekly on social media. They air on Fridays at 10 a.m. Thanks again. Have a great day.